First, let's start with good morning. How y'all doing? Taking my walk. Got my latest shoes. Haven't had running shoes in a long time. Always using special sold shoes. I guess now I have to wait. So, how is everybody doing today? Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to cut that short. So that's about it. Thanks everyone. Okay, now we're gonna continue. Hope everybody's doing good. Everybody's doing great. So let's go and get into the topic. How is most of your lives going? Is it mostly going the way you want it? Or is it a train wreck? And usually you have to remember that everything that happens to your life is because of a decision that we all make. From a positive to a negative. I don't believe there ever is a negative. You can make it into a negative, but I don't believe everything, every situation, there's a reason for it. Some people that I know, for example, are in the same situation they always are and find every excuse why they're still there. And the more they give in excuses, the more they try to reason with it, the more the reality is that reality becomes true. You create the reality you want. No, I'm not talking about magic powers or whatever. I'm talking about what you're able to do with your life. It's like I'll use my life for example. My life is not always perfect. Some people think it is. Well, if you would talk to my son, he would tell you the opposite. Don't get me wrong. My son loves me, and I love him very much. But just sometimes things, and because it's my own conscious choice, I can use the excuse that I'm getting old. I can use the excuse that I can no longer do things like when I was in my 20s, my 30s, and my 40s. If they're real or not, it doesn't really matter. I create the reality I'm living in. Am I motivated by money? No, I never was. Even as a kid, money never was my cup of tea or cared for. I like being my own boss. I like leadership. That is true. I can be a little narcissistic. But remember, being narcissistic is not always a negative. It's also positive. It means you own up to who you are. If somebody else would have called me that, then I wouldn't accept it. Just like I have no right to call somebody a narcissist unless it's a negative one. It's a different story. But going back to the subject, is when I mean by you create the reality, is it because you're looking for every excuses. Either you make it real and you become very successful because you associate with the people who are successful. And that's one thing I've learned. If you associate and hang out with successful people, they will help you be successful. The only time successful people will not be around you is if they find that you are negative and you're not responsive like they are. Of course, they don't want to be around you because they don't need that vibration, that energy around them. They only want to be around other successful people. TV program, they show you how they rival against each other, how they cutthroat each other. That's not reality. It doesn't mean that when you're a job, you try to get a high position. It's a different story. We're talking about being your own boss, running your own business. Everybody likes to help the other person. Even if you're in the same field, even if you hate each other, you respect each other, and you do everything. Now I'm going to go to those who don't. I know many, I won't say many, a few, that they take different courses on how to be successful. They try different things, how to be successful, but then they never really put any real effort. They've gone, like, for example, programs that are worth $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for free, and then did nothing with it. Why? Because I've learned in life, if it's not your own money from your own pocket, you're not going to try. When it comes from your own pocket, take my word, and I know this from my experience when I used to do events, is I know the people that used to take notes that actually paid the money and that were in one of my programs, my God, did they take note. Back then, it was mostly written notes. It wasn't really tablets or whatever. But they took notes, and they became very successful. Today, when I bump into them, and I see some of them, I become, my God, much more successful than I am. I mean, I'll just use one example. For example, not only is this person doing amazing well, he owns a home here in my city. He owns a home, and I believe in Lebanon, just to give you an idea. He owns another home, I believe, in Paris. And just to give you an idea, I don't know where else he owns home. I don't know if he has one in Dubai. I don't want to make that up. But, and he always says, whenever he sees me online or he sees me in person, he always says, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am today. But he's only one of many. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say.